begin.
Okay, first of all, wholeness to everybody, family. The first thing I want you to do is to consider the notes that I sent out to you. After today, you can delete those, and I'm going to send you, everybody, the updated, you know what I'm saying, more accurate explanations of moving from one point to another, because I think one of the things that may not be clear that I think is vital for our continued study starting today, where we're going to pick up, as I had asked everybody to look at the introduction of power versus force, because what we are talking about, how to demonstrate, first activate and be able to demonstrate our power, and not understand force is, for power. So I want to just kind of go back and preference by saying delete that after today, and you're going to get the update, more precise explanations of everything. Because one of the things I think possibly has happened, and it is kind of like a little cloudy, a little foggy in the mind, is that is the relationship to Adam, the concept of Adam, the concept of male and female, and its relationship to the stars. I think it's not so precise. So what I did, I made sure that I go back in and precisely explain that so you can see that relationship. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay. Just to dovetail, Nasik, very quickly. Shalom to everyone. Wholeness. I'd like to say that first. But I had sent out notes as well yesterday, but today I sent out amended notes as well, with the instructions to discard yesterday's attachment and use the amended notes for today as well. So we constantly trying to make this thing as clear and as simple and as understandable, comprehensible as possible. So, all right, Nasik.
Okay, excellent, Eitai. Exactly what we're trying to do. So with that said, you're going to get a clear explanation of the relationship, because that relationship to Adam, to male, female, and the stars, and how it all ties to us today, and what we're talking about is very, very critical. We've come through a simulated history, perceived as to be a reality that we could begin to fashion our lives after. And if we could only make contact with the God of creation, then everything would be amended and everything would be clear. At that point, we could go ahead on, on a blissful life. Well, that's just not true. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the introduction. And I just want to, I'm going to just read the first portions of each point, and I want you to take it from there and tie it in.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the introduction. It says, all of human endeavors has the common goal of understanding our influencing our experience. Now, that ties back into the experience that we've had in the simulated reality. We cannot take that experience as being reality. It is just what we said, a simulated experience. Okay. So now, in order to understand the experience of reality, it has everything to do with how we understand the relationship between the concept Adam, male, female, the stars. Okay? Once that is clearly understood and what that was supposed to activate, then we'll be able to start the process of understanding the true true reality. And then everything else would have to fit into that. Next point. We're going to go now to the next page in my book, and it says, man's dilemma, now and always, has been that that he has misidentified his own intellectual artifacts as reality. Now, this is what I've been saying. It's difficult to understand what we are trying to convey from a purely intellectual point of reference and what we call abstract language or human language in that sense. Okay? It said, but these artificial, and we got to see, going back to theoretical, these artificial suppositions are merely the products of an arbitrary point of perception. The inadequacy of the answers we receive is a direct consequence of the limitations implicit in the viewpoints of the questions. Now, Eitai was explaining to us yesterday about call and response.
That's correct.
So that activated for me the understanding that you can only respond to the question that's answered and how you understand the question that answered or the call that comes to you.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you are in this dualistic way of viewing things, then the call that comes from holism, you cannot respond.
That's correct.
So that, you know, we have to formulate the questions within the context of the language of wholeness if we want to get the true answer. But if you try to respond to the question in an abstract or dualistic answer, it will not be the correct answer to what the question that came to you in wholeness.
Correct.
So this is very, very, very significant. Very significant. Okay. Now we'll move now, and I want you to kind of read through these so that we can come down. It says understanding does not proceed simply from examining data, and that's what we've been doing, examining data.
Okay.
It comes from examining data in a particular context. So the context that you're going to examine the data, if the data is what, dualistic, and you're trying to what, understand it from a dualistic, you're going to get a surface answer.
That's correct.
And you will not get the correct or the inner, you know, or the most significant or the most accurate, you understand, answer and meaning. Okay? Then he goes down and then we say the fatal faults of all thoughts seem to have been primarily one, failure to differentiate between subjective and objective; two, disregard of the limitations of context inherent in basic design and terminology; three, ignorance of the nature of consciousness itself. Now that's a key one.
That's right.
Okay, and then four, it says misunderstanding of the nature of causality. So again, if you misunderstand consciousness, you're going to misunderstand causality. Okay, so now we move to the next.
I want to make a point right here on causality, and again, give us an axiom. And this is what you've been talking about. And the axiom is like causes always produce like effects. Like causes always produce like effects. Again, like causes always produce like effects. Now, that is likened to or comparable to the scripture passage that says you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. So if the cause is holistic, then what? The effect should be holistic.
Absolutely.
And you can trace the effect, if it's holistic, you can trace it back to a holistic cause. Now, if the cause is dual or dualistic, the effect will be dualistic. And then you can
Absolutely.
trace the dualistic effect back to what? A dualistic cause.
Right.
But our job is to syncretize or synthesize what? Dualism
Right.
and variation and apparent differences. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
okay,
Excellent.
yeah.
Now, we go over to continuing on to the next page where we just read. I think this speaks exactly to what Eitai just said. It says, man is stuck. And we say that, so and so is stuck. But humanity is stuck. Man is stuck with his lack of knowledge about himself until he can learn to look beyond apparent causes.
Apparent causes.
Right. From the human record, we may note that answers never arise from identifying causes in the world. Instead, it's necessary to identify the condition that underlie ostensible causes. And these conditions exist only within man's consciousness itself. No definitive answers to any problem can be found by isolating sequences of events and projecting upon them a mental notion of causality. And that's what Eitai was just explaining. You see, so this is so important when we understand it. Now we go to the next page, and it says, man's two, at the top of the page, man, two basic types of operational faculties, reason and feeling, are both inherently unreliable, as our history of precarious individual and collective survival attests. Although we ascribe our action to reason, man in fact operates primarily out of pattern recognition. The logical arrangement of data serves mainly to enhance a pattern recognition system that then becomes truth.
Right.
But, he said, but nothing is ever true, quote, in the quote, except under certain circumstances, and then only from a particular viewpoint, characteristically unstated. So we got to understand, the significance of this relationship that we were trying to make with Adam, male, female, and the stars in their relationship that will produce the correct understanding of what we have just read through and what the world is going through and what we have, gone through under the influence of dualism in this simulated reality. So I'll hold right there, and I'll let Eitai pick up and go on, take us on someplace else. Okay?
Okay, Toda Nasik. Very good. What Nasik will begin here, that what he has just illustrated and emphasized for us is the adverse effect of language. And this is one of the things that we're going to concentrate on today. And I took Nasik's suggestion and went to Isaiah 28 11 and 3, because I had cited yesterday a verse from First Corinthians that referred to it. And that verse is from First Corinthians 14 and 21. And it reads, "In the law it is written, with men of other tongues and other lips will I speak unto this people. And yet, for all that, they will not hear me, saith the Lord." So, this difference in language, Nasik talked about the call and response. And what we must understand is the different languages, French, German, English, etc., and so on, that these are based on similar mathematical algorithms. And this is not the language of our ancestors like that. The language of our ancestors are symbols. So we must, again, the one thing that we endeavor to do when we start out is to familiarize ourselves with symbols, because these speak to us inwardly. They are designed to speak to us inwardly and, again, activate these power centers, these energetic centers, plexuses within us. Okay? So this was, again, illustrated allegorically in the scriptures. Isaiah 28, 11 and 3, "For with stammering lips and another tongue will I speak to this people, to whom he said, This is the rest, wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest." Now see, the rest.
Each I just gotta say it.
Right, go
Man,
ahead.
I remember wrestling with that about 7, 8 years ago, and I just said, man, what is going on?
But we all know what the true Sabbath rest is. It's shalom, it's wholeness.
Right.
That is the true Shabbat shalom, the whole rest.
That's why I got sit down. Well, I didn't get sit down. I had to say, I think I told y'all, I sent this in to Abba, and when he was present, he asked me some questions, but he asked me one question: did I believe in the Sabbath day? And I told him, yeah, it had nothing to do with it, but the whole concept of the Sabbath had to do with bringing us back to wholeness.
That's
And
correct.
so he said it back, and he didn't say no more. That was the end of it.
Right. I remember you told me that, Nasik.
Yeah.
So, but we understand this rest. Now, the rest that is talking about, if you look this word up, it is not Shabbat. It is talking about a resting place. Now see how the ark Noah's ark, came to rest on Mount Ararat. Okay, so it is the resting place. It is talking about something that is within, that has to be discovered within the material world. This is how this is, while we are here in the material, a comprehension or an understanding that is to be gained in the physical, in the earth realm. You all with me?
Yeah.
So the Shabbat, the resting on the Shabbat, Nasi, is the lower concept, the earthly concept.
That's the earthly concept, right?
The higher concept, Now we're going to go into heaven and the earth. The higher nonlinear concept or enfolded concept is wholeness.
Right.
It is not a certain place to rest. It is not a certain activity that you're resting from. That's the lesser light. Okay, I'm connecting to Nasik.
Right. Right.
That's the lesser light. The greater
Right.
light is
Right.
wholeness. Now, the lesser light, Nasik, we not putting nothing down. The lesser light is useful, but it is a lesser light.
Right.
The thing that is above, the higher ideal, or what the higher self is endeavoring to communicate to us, is this rest in wholeness, where you have what? Synthesized or syncretized apparent opposites. You've made them one, so now you can rest. You've achieved wholeness. Does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the refreshing. Yet they would not hear. See, that's why you get sat down over stuff like this. Sometimes your eyes get used to the lesser light,
Right.
and the greater light hurts your eyes. So you want to stay relaxed. But the word of the Lord was unto them, listen, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. And again, this was necessary. And excuse me, I'm having a little technical problem. I'll get it fixed right quick here with my mouse.
Your picture's not coming up either.
Yeah, someone told me on the class last Sunday that the print is smaller when I have the when I have my picture up.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm presenting, so that the print, bear with me, y'all. Of course, this is happening now. All right, there we go. I gotta wait. Okay, I'm back connected. All right, so the word of the Lord. Now this is the language now. This is the language. It was unto them what? Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, here a little, a line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. Now, let's go back to the turning point. One second, family. Now, let's go back to the turning point, okay? That rational thought, it says, tends to be what? Fragmented.
Yeah.
Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little, there a little. That sounds like it's fragmented, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it had to be that way so that we might go, fall backward, be broken, ensnared, and taken.
Clear.
We had to correct this flaw again, Nasik. in real time in the earth realm, in the material realms. So
Right.
this is why the word rest is not Shabbat. It is not the higher concept of Shabbat. It is talking about a physical place or material place of rest. Because that's how the lower, lesser light conception views it. And it says, now see, they could not hear the call
Right.
because it was not, the call was a certain type, but what? The hearing or perception of the call was dualistic.
Was dualistic.
So the
Huh.
response, or the effect had to be dualistic,
Had to be.
and it accomplished a higher goal for us to go, fall backward, be broken, snared, and taken. We had to disconnect completely from our power. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Ain't nobody did nothing to us. This was planned from the beginning. What we're doing is understanding the nature of the reality that we inhabit. Because this is what Nasik just read, that unless we do that, we're going to remain stuck.
Yep.
So what we did over the last couple of days, and we can go back and read the notes, is, we distinguished between what was holistic and what was dual. And we're endeavoring to do what? To join these two opposites, to make them one. And we are in our understanding. We quite
Absolutely.
clearly understand why dualism was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That while we had to fall under that particular simulated reality, in order that we might do what? Again, repair this flaw, correct this error. And as the scripture will later, as it puts it, and we're going to look at that scripture, to repair the breach. To
Right.
repair the breach. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in a point, and it's funny, Nasik, that he uses the term turning point,
Right.
because we are literally in a turning point, in a place historically where the head or the tail is going to do what? Become the head.
Yep.
But we had to become the tail, again, in order to correct the error, to repair the breach, to go through this alchemical process, so that we shall be what? Above only and not beneath.
Perfect.
Eitai.
Yes, Cain.
Makiel.
Malkiel. Shalom, Malki.
Hey, shalom, shalom. I just want to share with the family that, and it ties to all what you have shared in Nasik Aharone, especially with the understanding of the male and female energy, and our experiences, that we had to go through. There was a call last night in the celestial or the cosmic kingdom using a symbol, the moon.
Wow.
There was a super blue moon last night.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Why?
Correct.
Why did she appear? Because remember now, when you talk about the moon, you're talking about the feminine energy.
That's correct, brother.
She appeared the same night the masculine energy had the world attention. Trump.
That's correct.
That was not coincidence.
Definitely not, brother.
Now listen, let me kind of assist what has been said. I want to go back to something Damon Barry said, and he showed it, but he didn't really get into the depths of it, or I missed it. And he showed where all the manifestation of these things would take place in the United States of America, because he was saying this was the place of the rule of our ancestors and Egypt, those two kingdoms that they ruled. And what you just said last night, Donald Trump, the president, he got to stage, but then the feminine energy showed as a blue moon. Now, that ain't just coincidental like that.
Not at all.
Absolutely.
Because when Damon showed about the United States of America, he showed that the water was up to the nose almost of the Statue of Liberty.
Wow.
And the Statue of Liberty, we know, was what? Originally a black what?
That's
woman.
correct. Black.
Yes.
So we looking at the melanin people and this energy of the feminine, element showing itself and revealing itself at such a time. I just wanted to add on to that.
Okay, Nasik.
Okay. Now, Nasik, you said the Statue of Liberty was up to, underwater.
It was almost over the head. The only thing was up, you could see the hand sticking up.
I'm gonna quote George Clinton.
Okay.
With the rhythm it takes to dance through what we have to live through, we can dance underwater and not get wet. So this is but this is significant now, because we went from outer space, which was George Clinton took us to outer space, which is the waters above, to what? Into the material world, the waters below. So this is, but we can dance now. We can dance either place now. We can dance either place, so we're not worried.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah.
But excellent point, Malkiel.
Hallelujah.
And what we have to understand, family, is what we are doing. I want us to understand this, because this is truth. What we are doing in raising our consciousness level, it is destroying, eroding, disintegrating the integrity of the simulated reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we rise, it falls. All we got to do, ain't nobody else, it ain't the universe, ain't nothing. It is a direct result of the dynamic that is occurring here, and that we are all experiencing and participating in. We must know that. Go ahead, Malkiel.
Oh, I'm finished.
Okay.
Eitai.
Just
I want to just kind of verify what you said. I want to go back to my portion the other day about the enlightenment of the age of wholeness, unity, and oneness. Now, I'm going to read something to verify what we just got through saying. I'm going to go back and read what it says here. Okay. The enlightenment, also known as the age of enlightenment or the age of reason. Now, reason is rationality, all right, creates dualism and individuality. In France, it is called luminaries, literary luminaries, the century of lights. And in Germany, it's enlightenment. Now, I said it was an intellectual and philosophical movement that dominated the world of ideas in Europe during the 18th century, the century of philosophy. Now, listen to this. The Enlightenment included a range of ideas centered on reason
Right.
as the primary source of authority and legitimacy,
That's right.
and came to advance ideas like liberty, Statue of Liberty,
Right.
progress,
Mm-hmm.
tolerance, fraternity, constitutional government, and separation of church and state. All of this in France, the central doctrine of the Enlightenment philosophy was individual liberty and religious tolerance,
That's correct.
in opposition to an absolute monarchy. Now, they use the word monarchy, and the fixed dogma. But the monarchy and fixed dogma is not an individual sitting on the throne. The monarchy is wholeness,
That's correct.
unity, and oneness. That's what they didn't want.
Absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
Of the Roman Catholic Church. See, the Roman Catholic Church played the major role in removing these concepts and ideas of our stuff, Eitai. So I just wanted to bring that out because they knew that this whole idea of reason and authority and legitimacy was within the simulated world. But in the world of the organic world wasn't so. It didn't have no authority, no legitimacy.
Absolutely.
Right. Right.
Just wanted to bring that point out.
Well, Nasik, you covered the major points that we're going to cover today just in that synopsis. So if we have our pens or pencils and pads available, I'm going to just skim this portion, and I want to make note of several symbols here that are going to help us in our comprehension of what we are going to discuss today and decode today.
Excellent.
Specifically, the 10 hells in 7 places. So just write 10 hells in 7 places, then put in parentheses 17.
7 kings,
17, the number 17, 1 7.
Oh, 17, okay.
10 hells in 7 places. All right, because we're going to code something. Now, again, all of these things that I'm talking about us, because the 10 hells in 7 places are areas of specific, they say mind power, but we're going to say mental power or the power of consciousness. And this is specific to when the magician may enter and command a form of order from the chaos of the subconscious, thus the universe. This is talking about demonstration of your power.
Yeah.
This is a how-to manual. Now, see, we ain't just gonna get on here talking about stuff. That's what philosophy is.
Eitai, hold on 1 second.
Okay, go ahead, Nasik. I'm gonna pause right quick. All right, resuming. So we're talking about these 10 hells in 7 places, which is a power that is inherent within all of us. In this, the witch or the magician should approach the 10 hells in 7 places as being a gateway to the 7 heads of the infernal dragon. You all are going to know what all this means. A form of the beast or Samael. All right? We've been frightened by these things. But the people that wrote them and philosophized about them, when they understood it, they were the ones that were frightened and made these things taboo. Just as the Yatuk Denoi, Arizura, is the opening of the mouth of hell, that is where the Statue of Liberty is.
Right.
But it's not referring to a gateway like that. Hell is referring to HEL. I want you all to understand this, the sisterhood, the feminine energy. And the opening of the mouth is referring to when the sisterhood, listen, will begin to speak this holistic language and activate the powers that are within. Brothers as well. But when we look at the magician, it's going to be that feminine energy when the brother speaks it that is speaking through the brothers. The sisters are going to be speaking their mother tongue, the opening of the mouth of hell. The hell of hells leads one to the depths of calipathic adverse power. The power must be adverse because why? The tail is becoming the head. You all with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It cannot be fragmented. It has to be holistic. So it is adverse. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is anti, ANTI. Y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That other language didn't work for us. So it must be an adverse language. The Calippo is a living map of the subconscious and the very power of the darkness. Darkness only means hidden, the hidden aspects of what? The mind. The Calippo is a place of shells, hence the meaning of the word related to the chthonic depths of the earth. Y'all gonna know how this refers to you as we go on, and the spirit of man, not mankind. Mankind can't do it. So they had to develop philosophy that was based on reasoning. Fragment. All that you do with Liber Yahuwah should be results oriented. That is the obtainment, and retention of individual power and strength. I guarantee you that we're going to demonstrate that each of you,
Absolutely.
if you endeavor, you will demonstrate that individual power. It's necessary. The time is now. This is our time now. Thus, to become as God, God, refers to the ability to what? Generate, that is create, operate, that is maintain or retain, and destroy, that is to end when you get ready. It's over when you say it's over. This is what we're talking about now. It's time for us to stand up and to start to demonstrate. Too much talking now, see?
Yeah.
Too much talking. We have these keys to the kingdom of heaven. We have them. Now we're going to demonstrate how to use them. So we talked about the call and response. Everyone should be clear on that. This holistic language, and this is what the language that we're speaking in now is, a holistic language. So we understood, and this is a review, again, this feminine energy is present, whether a male is opening his mouth and speaking it, or a female. And what the power behind this is the divine union of opposites. That is fundamental. That's all we've been talking about, is making whole that which was what? Fragmented, that which was dualistic, that which was separated. And just as it, Nasik, the masculine achievement is the splitting of the atom for the power.
Right. Right.
But what kind of power are you demonstrating when you can put the atom back together?
Right.
Come on, Eitai. Come on, Eitai.
So the divine attitude is masculine, as it is what? Combined with the divine energy that is feminine. This is the secret doctrine. This is what they did not want us to know.
Yeah, this is it.
But guess what? See, it's all fun until the rabbit get the gun. And you see the sister over here, she got the wand in one hand and the sword in the other.
Yeah.
And so we must understand that that is demonic to them. It is satanic. Right. It is the epitome of terror, of evil. The evil of all evil would be when we decided to wake up, shake ourselves, and get ready to rumble and close this thing down. It's time to close it down. So again, Nasik, male and female created he them. And Nasik gave us the holistic idea of nikava. The holistic idea of nikava, and all of those words, kava, kokav for star, and then the root word kava for star, he syncretized those, synthesized those for us. So we're focusing on the first letter, nun. But again, it is telling us over and over and in greater detail about these union of opposites and the very construction of the word nun, symbolically shows us and very powerfully demonstrates this union of opposites. The medial noon here, that is in the beginning of words or in the middle of words, is juxtaposed and combined via the vav, the connector, to its opposite, its exact opposite, which is noon sofit, or final noon. Does everyone see that? This one is bent, this one is straight, but they are connected. And the holistic idea is noon. And this is a teaching catechism in this word. It demonstrates
Boy,
by its very construction this idea of the power of the union of opposites. Nun, the medial nun at the beginning, nun sofit, one bent, the other one standing upright. and in the narrative of history, this is referring to the faithful or suffering servant that bent down with knowledge of forethought, that volunteered to subjugate herself, like Samson to be afflicted, like Jesus to be crucified. But this was the feminine energy that is always primary. And it is the feminine energy that is going to stand up or arise at the end, being the righteous one who is upright. Is everyone with me?
Okay.
So Nun Vav and Nun Sofit demonstrate the what? Divine union of opposites. The divine union of opposites. So within our consciousness, this is aiding us to do what? Begin to form holistic ideas out of apparent opposites. It's a catechism. It's called a primer or a primer. So we talked about the magician, the male posed like the Statue of Liberty, but only having one artifact of power, the other artifact, the sword, being laid on the table. But the world card, which is the 21st card in the deck, seeing the feminine energy upright with what? Both hands wielding her power. And this being the world, we see the representation of the four elements that create the physical world. This is saying that this is not something that is spiritual. Again, that this would happen in time within the unfolded reality, within the linear system, within the material world. So a nun, the way that we say it, a nun is a member. All of this is going to connect together now. A nun is a member of a religious community of women, typically one voluntarily living under vows of poverty, chastity, faithfulness, and obedience. So this is a representation. This was the Euro Gentiles' attempt, Nasik, philosophically, to establish or to contact or to align themselves with the divine feminine energy. And it is a poor attempt, but we'll take it because it's going to help us connect things together in terms of giving us a comprehensive view of who we are. So the interplay, dynamic interplay of opposites in the yin and the yang. This is something, this next portion is something that I've been teaching for decades. Because this, in the beginning, Genesis 1:1, God created the heavens and the earth, never made sense to me. And more importantly, it wasn't an accurate transliteration of the Hebrew, the original Hebrew. It was an interpretation of the Hebrew. And you never want to get into interpretations. You want direct transliteration and to access the nature and the meaning of a particular verse or a particular statement based on context and based on, grammatic context as well. So I never translated it like that. The way I translated it or transliterated it, it actually means at first or in place were created these mighty ones, which are erroneously translated as gods, Elohim, these mighty ones. And then it literally says this word here, et, right here. This word et. Et is like taking your finger and pointing to and saying, this is what I was talking about when I was referring to mighty ones. There are two, the heavens, Shemayim, and the earth, Ha'eretz. So in the context, we cannot make this say something else. The mighty ones are these polar opposites. The heavens being one pole, referring to that which is above, and the earth being the opposite pole, referring to that which is below. So the establishment of duality, polar opposites, yin and yang. All right? And this is ubiquitous in just about every creative narrative that you'll find, this creation of opposites, of duality. That marks duality, characterizes the material or physical world. So we're going to talk about and focus on what the sisters did.
Eitai,
Yes.
may I make a point? But it's really not a point. It's a confirmation. But again, we're back to what we started off with about asking a question, the wrong question, within the wrong language, you're going to get the wrong or a surface answer. You follow me?
That's correct.
Now, what you just shared with us, you call it the 10 hells in 7 places.
Right.
Now, listen to this here now. And you probably already know this. I'm just going to read to you the one verse. Well, I'm going to read two. Wait, hold on 1 minute. I'm going to read 3 verses. 3 verses, right. of it. And what we're reading from is Revelation 13. It starts in Daniel, but I'm going to pick up in Revelation 13, verse 1, 2, and 3. Now listen to what it says. And I stood up on the sands of the sea and saw a beast rise up out the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now you just told us that it was
Right.
7 hells,
Right.
and I mean 10 hells, 7 hells.
Now see, watch this. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, see. So, but anyway, I just wanted to. So you're already there. I just wanted to confirm what you were saying. You see, when you don't understand the language, you're gonna err.
That's correct.
Absolutely, I'm clear.
We're doing everything holistically.
Absolutely, right.
We've reached a holistic energy pattern. Everyone is locked in. We've locked into it, so everything becomes clear. Now, see, the scripture that says even darkness is like daylight to them.
Right, right.
Talking about the higher consciousness.
Right.
With me. So everything that's hidden is being what? Revealed.
Revealed.
So this is talking about, now we understand that we emanated into these realms, which means that we have and had an existence that predates our birth and incarnation into these realms.
Right.
Agreed? So just as we volunteered with knowledge or forethought to be born within these generations in order to do what? Close this thing down, bring this thing to a close. 400 years ago, our family, our spiritual and energetic family, volunteered for this. Volunteered to come in and bend the knee. Volunteered to come here and lay their weapons down. To voluntarily give up their power and become, like Samson, afflicted by their enemies. Are you all with me?
Okay.
So it was the sisterhood that is always the protective element, always the protective energy, always that protective and surrounding aspect that had to, and is always primary, had to lay down first. And understand that these spirits, that these great spirits came in, knew that they would be subjecting their, not only themselves to this, but their children, their progeny, and their offspring for several generations. Are y'all hearing me?
Yeah.
Eitai.
Cain.
Machiel again. With your permission, I would like to give an organic clarity to the number 17.
Go ahead, brother. You don't need my permission. you got the ancestors' permission, brother. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, Eitai, told us about the 10 hells and the 7 places, and then Nasik confirmed it in Revelation. And let's look at the number 17, the number 1, and the number 7, which adds up to the number 8.
Cain. You right there, brother. Go ahead.
So let's look at the number one. One resonates with the vibration and attributes of new beginning, creation, independence, uniqueness, motivation,
Cain.
striving forward and progress, ambition and willpower, positively and positiveness. The energies of pioneering, raw energy, force, activity, self-leadership, and assertiveness.
Uh-huh.
Initiative, instinct, and intuition. The masculine attribute, organization, achievement, and success. Strength and self-reliance. Tenacity, authority, love, inspiration, attainment, glory, happiness, fame, fulfillment, and creating your own reality. That's just number one.
Brother,
The number one.
it's in perfect alignment with what we're talking about. Go right ahead.
Absolutely. So now let's look at the number seven. Seven resonates with the vibrations and energies of collective consciousness, faith, and spirituality, spiritual awakening and awareness.
Now, Malkiel,
Spiritual change.
Okay, I heard your call. Let me respond. Let me respond. Seven.
Come on.
Seven. We're going to get to this now.
Okay.
Seven is Zion. All right. Which is the sword. Which is the sword. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now see. Do the sword prick?
Absolutely.
Does it pick? Does it penetrate?
Absolutely. Does it perforate?
Perforate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Malkiel, go right ahead, brother.
Okay. Spiritual enlightenment, spiritual acceptance and development, mysticism, intuition and inner knowing.
Yes.
Inner wisdom, psychic ability, the esoteric, inner self, deep contemplation, introspection, eccentric, thoughtfulness, understanding of others, natural healer and healing, secret, myth, ritual, peace, poise, emotions and feelings, inner strength, endurance and perseverance.
You hear this, Nasik?
Persistence of purpose, the ability to bear hardships, quick wit, the loner, solitary, isolation, long-sighted, the non-conformist, independence and individualism, intention, manifesting and manifestation in time and space, good fortune, mental analysis, philosophy, and philosophical. Technically, scientific research, science, alchemy, genius, a keen mind, specializing and specialist, the inventor, determination, the written word, understanding, discernment and discerning, knowledge seeking, study, education and learning, writing and the writer, evolution, stability, the ability to set limits, completion, refinement, silence, perfection, chastity, dignity,
chastity.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the nun. That's this is perfect. Go ahead, brother.
Rigor ahead of the time. That's number 7.
Okay.
And we're going to close out with adding those two together, which makes it the number 8, which is the whole, which is wholeness.
Absolutely.
When you add two things together, it becomes one. It's whole. The number
I'm gonna show
8
y'all something. Did he say the number 8?
Yeah.
What does that look like? And you see what's on the head of the magician?
Right.
And if you look at the number 8, it looks like a woman.
Say again.
If you look at the number 8, it looks like a shape of a woman.
Absolutely.
Number 8 resonates with the influence and vibration of authority and personal power, self-confidence, executive ability, confidence, inner strength, professionalism, and the professional, management, material freedom, success, good judgment,
That's where we headed.
money, finances,
That's where we
riches,
headed.
manifesting wealth, abundance and prosperity, provision, investment, discrimination, and discernment.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. I'm gonna give you a text.
Okay.
Last evening, I told my Isha that we're here, that we have the keys, and that she would have to begin, and this is for the sisterhood, to start blessing each individual of your family. I'm talking to you about what's real now. Bless each individual of your family. This is what the sisterhood should start to do. You all have that sword.
Yeah.
It is the two-edged sword that is allegorically said that is coming out of the mouth. The sister, I'm going to show y'all, you all have that. So you all have to be the beginning, because it always shows the sister, the feminine energy with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
The brothers is laying down, so you all have to initiate this. So I told them it's time to start speaking these things into existence.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you already know how to do this. You know what our intent is and what the desires of our heart is in terms of manifesting these things. So she said, Cain, and she understood what I was saying. And she was about ready to go to bed. And I got up and was working on this. This is when I amended this thing so it'll be clearer. Nasik is already tied into the things that I amended. Malkiel already tied into the things that I just showed y'all that I amended on this. Now, she texted me today at 9:21. I'm going to read the text. And she just texts, more money, explain later. Now, she just last night started speaking these things. And I'll let y'all know what she meant by this. It's not big, because she wouldn't, if it was simple, she wouldn't have to explain later. But we just had that conversation now. I'm telling y'all, I'm declaring it. We have the key. It's what we say, not what we believe no more. It's what we say in a holistic language that is our power.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
This is real, y'all. This is real.
It is.
This ain't no belief system. what
No,
we are
no, no.
experiencing in real time is
Mm-hmm.
actual holistic reality
Showtime.
within material. It's showtime now.
Yeah.
Go
Super,
ahead,
super, super.
Malkia.
Okay. Finishing up. Giving and receiving. Thoroughness. Dependability. Self-reliance. Practicality. Consideration. Inner wisdom. Self-sufficiency.
Yes.
Social status. Compassion. Executive. Delegation. Reality. Truth and integrity. Compassion. Multiple employment. Stability. Appearance. Custom. Skills and talent.
Uh-huh.
Exchanges. Truth. Good judgment and problem solving. Organization and organizing. Achieving the achievement. Decisiveness. Control. Constant. The authoritarian. Challenge. Efficiency. Trustworthiness. Insight. Planning and the planner. Sociability. Work independently. Learning through experience.
Learning
Let me,
through experience.
yes, let me repeat that.
Right.
Learning through experience. True justice. Retreat. Patient. Caution. Self-discipline. Free will. Insight. Spiritual consciousness. A desire for peace and love of humanity and the world transformation. Number 8 is the number of karma, the universal spiritual law of cause and effect.
This everything we've been talking about, Aki.
Absolutely.
Now I want to remind us now. He said a lot of things, but it's all going to tie in. It's all going
Mm-hmm.
to everything that he just said is going to tie in with what we're talking about. So we'll tie it into the introduction that we did yesterday and that we kind of skimmed through today. He talked about learning by experience. And this number 17 again, the 7 hells and the 10 hells in 7 places refers to what? Your individual power once it is fully activated. And it is going to be characterized by intuitive knowledge, which is based on what? Direct, non-intellectual or spiritual, that is energetic experience of reality arising in an expanded state of awareness
Mm-hmm.
that will what? Synthesize, syncretize, make whole, and enfold what? Dualism, the two opposites, the two polar opposites. This is your power. So all of this, we're on the same wavelength. We're speaking the same holistic language.
Yes.
So Malkiel, it's this call and response. It has to
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Okay.
It has to happen. It has to occur. It is evidence that this is where we're at.
Absolutely.
So we understand that a portion of the sisterhood volunteered to manifest from the nonlinear, enfolded state to the linear, unfolded state within the realms of the material to accomplish the correcting of this flaw, the healing of this breach. So we understood, I included the portions of the Willie Lynch letter. And again, it's the same elements that we've been talking about, the same general fundamental principle elements of the focus, what? On the feminine energy. And they said that they broke the sisters, but they didn't break the sisters. The sisters laid down their power during that time. I'll provide you proof of this historically. They laid down their power. They volunteered to what? Bend the knee. Bend the knee. And you see the sister in the middle bending the knee. And that means that they would experience the horrors of being left alone and unprotected in the midst of their enemies. However, they understood that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time if it can touch some original historic base. But now see, our perception, we were trying to touch not an original historic base, but the simulated reality of what? Our history.
Right.
So we were trying to to become Moors or Rastafarians or Hebrews or from the House of Shabazz or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely, Eitai.
We never understood, and that is only touching what? Our material or incarnate history.
Right.
But the holistic view is what? Our enfolded, nonlinear existence in the heavens prior to what? Incarnating within the physical. So we never could actually touch that original historic base. And not to say that these things, Nasik, they are pathways to that. They are all pathways to that.
That's what they are.
Touching the original historic base. But we have to start thinking not in terms of the material, which is the effects of the cause. The cause was the energetic.
Absolutely.
The emanation. Are you all with me?
Okay.
And so he said they advised
externally. I was just saying we're looking for the cause externally when the cause was internally. We was only going to find the effects, which was going to be always external.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And so this is why the emphasis in our study is not on eumelanin so much or pheomelanin, but on neuromelanin.
Right.
That internal phenomenon. Look, it is hidden. It is in darkness.
Right.
It's in the place where you can't see.
Right.
Readily.
Great point. High point.
Excellent. Excellent.
They advise us that the best way to deal with the phenomena is to shave the brute's mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomena or of illusions. So the illusions, the multiplicity of illusions, Nasik, is the unfolded nature of our history.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, You go to ancestry.com and you even go to the black ones, all right, the one that was started by the brother. And you say, well, I'm going to trace my history. The brother himself, I got him on tape admitting that their sample of African DNA is only 0.1%.
Mm.
So you start going back generations, you go back to your parents. Then your parents go back to their two parents. Their two parents go back to their. So now this thing is getting exponentially what? More complicated, more
Mm-hmm.
multiplicitous. You will never find, you go back 4 generations, you lost. You
Yeah.
lost. You can't make no connection even materially in terms of
Right.
the DNA. As you go back, it becomes more and more exponentially more complex and more illusory. We ain't never gonna make and throw a white man in the mix. What you think?
Right.
Throw one or two,
Right.
throw one or two white boys in the mix, or a white girl in the mix.
Right.
Come on now. You have to bypass all that. That is illusory.
Mm-hmm.
That can be simulated. Nasik, and it was.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that what? So that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit, something
Mm.
similar to floating balls in a vacuum.
Wow.
And then they said what? Control the language. For further severance or separation from what? Their original beginning. Now see, they
uh,
know their beginning.
right. They know
They
this.
told
That's
it to us. In their theory and philosophy of evolution. They were correct. It was an 8.
no, they clear. They crystal clear.
They
All
know
right.
theirs, and they know ours is our original beginning is not theirs.
Right.
Eitai, I don't have a copy of that. Could you please send me a copy of this here, or send me this here?
I think you got it. I sent it out to you in the amended notes. So check
Oh,
your
okay, then.
email. You
All
can
right.
have all.
Okay.
Everybody is going to have this.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay. So it's clear. So severs them from their original beginning and completely annihilate the mother tongue of both the new nigger and the mule. So they say completely annihilate the mother tongue. Now, see, the mother tongue wasn't, none of these
Absolutely. Right.
dialects.
Right.
It wasn't Hebrew. It wasn't.
Right. Right.
It wasn't none of this. It was a holistic language.
There you
It
go.
was the
There
language
you go.
of
Mm-hmm.
holism. So we trying to make up Swahili and all this kind of stuff and patois and all this. That ain't it. It's the language we speaking right now.
Absolutely. That's what it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
So now if you take a slave and teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets, and he is then no more a slave, and you can no longer fool him. But nobody should be fooled. You can't fool us with dualism no more.
No
Nope.
more. No
Nope.
more.
No matter what language you speaking, because now see, right away
Right.
we gonna recognize it.
Right.
Even if you come up wearing a dashiki with a keypot on, black as the ace of spade, we're gonna understand what language you speaking.
Come on, Eitai.
Y'all with me? We're gonna smoke you out right away.
Absolutely.
So let's explore this a little bit further. It was a sister, I can't remember if it was Yediah or I'm sorry, Yediyah, that was saying that they had an interest in the tarot cards. It was one of the sisters that was on the call. I'm not sure. I can't remember who exactly it was, but it was early on. And they said that they had always had an interest in the tarot. And I promised we would get into that, and this would be made plain. So, in using the tarot cards family from 12, which is the hangman, to 21, which is the world card, we're going to tell the story. We're going to tell our story, our true history. All right? In the holistic language. And again, Nasik, the holistic language is in the symbols. And our ability to what? Recognize the symbols.
That's where it's at.
And to syncretize the symbols, to put them together in a narrative that is consistent, that is holistic. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
So let's go. We said that it was the sisterhood that, with knowledge of forethought, emanated into these realms 400 years ago and did what? Voluntarily bent the knee. And although this is a brother that is up here, we see the halo or the light around the head, which is similar to what? The woman is in the background. Knowledge, wisdom, or forethought is in this. The feminine energy is always what? Primary. Even though it's a brother that is represented. We are not fooled. We are not fooled by male or female. We know it's male and female, and we know how to work this magic. We know how to speak this language, and we know how to interpret it when we see it. Nakhon.
Nakhon.
All right. So when we see the brother up there, we know that the feminine energy is behind him and inside him, and being demonstrated here by the simple fact that his head is illuminated. The feminine energy is wisdom. It is knowledge. It is knowledge of forethought.
Yes.
The next card is number 13, which is the death card, which we became fully unconscious voluntarily. But again, our secret knowledge and wisdom was what we was riding it. It was the Kabbalas, or the horse, the Kabbalah, that we still internally mastered, but we voluntarily died. All right. The noon, again, is the 14th letter. And a nun is one that does what? Is voluntarily temperate. Are y'all with me?
Mm-hmm.
Is voluntarily that gives up the aspects of passion or desire. So it corresponds to the 14th card. Y'all seeing it? Temperance. And temperance means habitual moderation or abstinence in the indulgence of the appetites or passions, like a nun. Noon. Are you all with me?
Okay.
And Malkiel was reading through his list of attributes of 17 that talked about, and he mentioned the one, chastity. So again, if you look at the chest, it has the upward chalice or upward dagger of the triangle, indicating that this is a male figure. But look at the head. It has the rays of light, enlightenment, and right in the middle of the head, it has the third eye represented. You all with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Malkiel kept talking about the age of Aquarius. I knew what he was talking about because this is that the water bearer?
Okay.
Is she bearing water?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But it's a male figure, but doing something that what? Is feminine. In the background of the death card, if you look right here, you see the sun rising between two towers. Do you all see it? To the right of the card,
Okay.
that yellow ass, the sun rising between two towers. These
Yeah.
are symbols now.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
in the temperance card, you see the top of the mountain illuminated with light, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. It's showing the relation with these two cards. The 15th card, and we're going to explain this, is the devil card. Is the devil card. Now remember, these things are talked about. Our power is always talked about, Nasik, in terms of something that is demonic, something that is
Eitai.
devilish, something,
Eitai.
huh?
This is the major question for yourself and Malkiel particularly, but you may not have this, but I need you to look into this because we got to completely eradicate all of everything that leads to turn us away from our power.
That's correct.
Yes.
Malkiel, you have
Okay.
you have the Father's writing on the revival of the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
I need you to read the introduction on page 15, 16, and 17, and then just what Eitai just said and just what I'm asking us to do. I want us to look at that. Eitai, I don't know if you got a copy. If you do, I need you to read that, and then we need to talk about that.
I will,
You know?
Malky, you have yours?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, go ahead and read. Now, see, mine, I got it. I got 1,000 books here, and my revival of the Holy Spirit is in pieces. I've read it so much, but go ahead.
What I want to do, though, I don't want to disrupt the direction that you're going.
Okay.
I want to read this, and then we discuss it before we, you understand, try to tie it into what we're doing, because
Okay.
I think it is significant, but I want to ask both of y'all a question once you read it, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Now, see, give us the site. Give us the citing. What page?
It's Revival of the Holy Spirit, page 15, 16, and 17.
Okay.
Now that's the introduction.
Okay.
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 All of it's the introduction.
Okay.
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 All right. So the 15th
All right.
card, we're going to tie this in now, is the devil card. And we see that the devil card, look at his hands, pointing one pointing up and the other pointing down, in the same manner as the magician. You see?
Right.
So again, this is connected to our power. So it's always going to be devilish. And then
That's why I want y'all to read what I just told you, because
right.
exactly what you're saying.
Now, Now see, this ties us in now to the Baphomet. That is the actual uh, representation of the devil card. Look at the hands. Look at the wings.
Right.
Look at the pentagram. As above, so below. All right.
Right.
And it's talking about what? It symbolizes the union of opposites. That is the
Right.
fundamental, that we must understand, especially the sisterhood, that this divine union of opposites is the very basis of all power, of all power in heaven and in the earth. So we shouldn't get squeamish. We shouldn't get scary and spooky when we see this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you see the male and the female figures that are representing what? The divine union of opposites. Adam and Kava. You all with?
Yeah.
So now see, you had mentioned the French philosophy, right?
Right.
So here's what we must understand. Their philosophy, which is, their philosophy, their science, their religion, their social system, their culture, all stems from. We must understand that this Euro Gentile has never created one thing. That their philosophy is an attempt to understand and duplicate, that is, ape our power. I'm going to say that again.
Absolutely.
Their philosophy stems from their observation of our divine power. And it is their attempt to, first of all, understand it. And what do? Nasik? They break it down into little pieces to
Right. That's how they
understand.
got to understand. Right.
They have no ability within themselves to understand holistic ideas and thoughts.
That's his nature that's incompatible with,
It's
you know,
incompatible. It has to
right.
do with melanin, with this
Right.
neuromelanin. Now, we're by
Right.
no means saying that they can't have a good understanding mentally and express it. They just can't demonstrate the power.
Right.
Right.
We're saying that in
Right.
general. There are some that have inherited what? This neuromelanin. They just might look white. You hear me now, see?
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
just like some people might look black. Black is the ace of spades. But if they're not talking in this holistic language, we already know.
We already know. Right.
So their
Mm-hmm.
philosophies and their attempts are they, characterize or symbolize their attempts to understand our power. So again,
Yeah.
when they understood the awesomeness of our power returning to them, these are the people now that you've treated so bad. So now when they return to this mythical supernatural power that you are bowing down to, that's terrifying.
Dang.
That's demonic. That's satanic. Now we're going to tie this right together, you all. This is perfect what our ancestors did. Now, write down the number 15. This is the devil card, right? Write down the number 15. Now, here's the French. They say that the Antichrist will be born of a Hebrew nun. I'm just going to stop right there.
Come on, Eitai.
He really said that. He really said that.
Oh my goodness.
Quotes?
Oh my. Look, I'm
Nasik,
surprised. I'm surprised ain't nobody leave the call.
That's really something there.
now, what they're actually saying is a Hebrew noon.
Right.
And noon is the 14th letter, which refers to the temperance card. I'm going to tie these two together.
Come on.
They say that this Hebrew noon or nun is a false virgin who will communicate with the old serpent.
Wow.
We know that
Wow.
serpent power is this wave power. And how
Yeah.
you gonna communicate with holistic language?
Wow.
Watch this.
Come on.
See, they know who we are.
Yes.
Now listen. In the year 1864, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna let our historians connect with 1864. Lucifer, together with a large number of demons, shall be unloosed from hell. The 13th Amendment, which
Come on.
abolished slavery in the United States, was passed by the Senate April 18, 1864.
Come on.
Wow.
So let me address y'all. Let me address all y'all devils and demons.
Right. Right.
Who got let loose from hell in 1864. They are frightened of this, terrified. Now look what they'll do, Nasik. They will put an end to faith little by little. Y'all kai.
Yeah.
Faith is belief. I don't want nothing to do with no belief.
Right.
Nor no belief system. That's what has kept us locked down and stuck. A belief that somebody else is going to do something for us.
Yeah. They play the trump card there.
That's right. Even those dedicated to God. I don't want nothing to do with no God or no God concept.
Wow.
Wow.
They will bind them in such a way. Look, they will blind them in such a way that unless they are blessed with a special grace, those people will take on the spirit of these angels of hell. Y'all should be ashamed of what y'all doing right now.
Right.
Listen, several religious institutions will lose all faith and lose many souls. I'm telling you all, as we speak this holistic language, the integrity of the simulated reality, this is what they fear. See, this is the adverse power. The tail doing what? Becoming the head. So the rise of Jacob is what?
All of Esau.
All of Esau. They know this. And so they know that they're religious institutions, and all of the institutions, Nasik, that you read about, that had what? This false integrity, it's going to be made plain. And as we rise in this holistic language and begin to speak it, those things are going to crumble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, look, this was released in no, I'm sorry, I said 15. This was okay, no, I got it right. This was published, Nasik, in 1879. Exactly 15 years after the 1865 amendment.
64 amendment,
I
right.
mean 64 amendment. Thus,
Right.
the 15 of the devil card. The devil will
Okay.
be
Right.
what? Loose from hell.
Mm-hmm.
The Antichrist is going the Antichrist is going to be born. They know that this is the end, that our rise means the end
Yes.
of all of their institutions.
Yes.
Financial, social,
Yes.
cultural,
Yes.
religious, community,
Mm-hmm.
you name it.
Just the word anti.
That's correct, brother. Everybody with me.
Absolutely.
So now let's go on. Now they said that these institutions would start to crumble. Now look at the next in line. We go from 15 to 16. What does that look like, y'all? Did we see that?
Power. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
The Twin Towers. We actually saw this. The Twin Towers being struck and individuals jumping out of the tower. Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we'll go into the esoteric understanding of the Twin Towers, but we just need to see the visual right now. Because we're doing this chronology that leads to our history. The next card is the number 17, which is Nasik, the star. Malkiel,
Okay.
it's the star. 17,
Mm-hmm.
brother. Now, this is the basis of everything that we've been talking about. And it corresponds exactly to Isaiah 30. And there shall
Yes.
be upon every, well, actually, both of these, there shall be on every high mountain and every high hill rivers and streams of water. When? In the day of the great slaughter. When what? The towers fall. So
Mm-hmm.
what do we see? We see the towers being hit and destroyed. Then we see the feminine energy, what? By the rivers and streams of water.
Mm-hmm.
Something was activated there.
Mm-hmm.
We began our ascension as what? Their institutions began to crumble. So the 17 is the star. How many points are on the star, brother? Malkia?
6, I believe, right?
Uh-uh.
6.
1, 2,
Seven.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Oh, gotcha.
It is the synthesis of, it's what you did. The synthesis of the
Yes.
1 and the 7 leading to,
Yes.
y'all
Yes.
got to understand what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So the star, this is what Nasik began speaking to us about. Adam and Kava, these opposites, as it relates to the star. Now we're on the track of our prophetic destiny. And this is what the tarot cards do. Moreover, the light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun. And the light of the sun, see the sun card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the light of the sun shall be sevenfold as the light of 7 days. In the day that the Lord does what? Bindeth up the breach of his people. Are we straying from the narrative?
Yeah.
Are we straying from the narrative any? Or is this the straight road, the narrow road to understanding and enlightenment?
That's
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 30 and 26.
Isaiah 30 and 26. And what? He bindeth up the breach and healeth the stroke of their wound. Let me show you. This is the stroke of the wound that the sisters voluntarily, and the brothers, but the sisters first, volunteered to take the stroke of the wound to what? Bind up the breach. It makes sense.
Explain what you mean by the stroke of the wound. Explain that.
So the stroke of the wound, the wound is what physically this and emotionally, and the sisters, the brothers that lived during this 400-year period, what we suffered and what we continue to suffer from.
Yes.
All right.
And especially if we're going to, if we don't recognize that this was voluntary, that this
Okay.
didn't actually happen to us. It didn't touch what? Our soul. It healed our soul.
Mm.
And
That's
it
a rough
healed
piece
us.
there, trying to make our people understand that, just think about, where would we start, to try to take them to this point here, because this is a very significant point. So just think about it. No response now. Just think about where would we start in this process that we are talking about now, that will make them understand that. Because if you're not vibrating initially, it does not necessarily mean they cannot, because they have not heard the information. You follow me?
No,
Right.
you're absolutely correct. That's absolutely
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
correct, Nasik.
All right. Okay. Continue on.
Okay. But getting them to sit still long enough to hear it, that's a little problematic. But but yeah, we'll consider that. So this is the wound that was incurred. But the wound was incurred for what? To heal the breach, to correct the flaw, to bind up the breach and correct the flaw. And so we know that in all of these prophecies that have to do with what? Judgment, it says what? The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So first of all, Malkiel, and we can look for this. I forget. I have to go back. I'll give you all the name of the event that is predicted to occur, where this actual event, just like we saw the bluing of the moon, this actual event of the moon and the sun increasing, it is actually predicted to occur. That it will be 7 days that the sun does not stop shining, that it'll be 7 days of daylight. We're actually very close to that event.
Okay.
Will occur.
Eitai, you saying this is an event of the future?
Huh?
You saying this is an event of the future?
Yes, this is the event that is very close to happening. I will get you you all the information.
Okay.
The names and the terms, and I'll add it to this, but I'll make sure everybody has it. All right?
Okay.
Because this is an actual event that is scheduled, celestial event that is going to happen. And the one brother that was teaching on it said,
The event being what?
He said he'd get you to.
The event being what?
I'm sorry.
You said the event, and the event being what?
I'm going to get back with you on that information. The event is soon to occur, just like we saw on the 30th, the what's called the blue moon, or the bluing of the moon. All right. So these are scheduled events, and I will get everyone the proper terminology so that you can research it on your own, and I will connect it to this information. Everyone will get it.
Okay, great.
Eitai, remind the family that these events that you are talking about, they are speaking to us.
Absolutely.
It's a language.
Right. So again, what it is talking about, and we're going to tie that in right now. So this event, the sevenfold 7-day lighted event, and again, I'll get you the proper terminology on that, precedes the sun and the moon and the stars darkening. All right. And these events would occur before what? The 20th card, which is the great and terrible day of judgment. Do y'all see? This is our story laid out. And in this book that is called The Wicked Pack of Cards, I'm going to show you all. I just got this book. It's called The Wicked Pack of Cards. And it talks about how the original deck of playing cards, they were actually playing cards. The original deck, at one point, they added 21 trump cards, or rather, I'm sorry, 22 trump cards. 22 trump cards. And our ancestors added those 22 trump cards. That what? Map out the story of our true history.
Markel,
Yeah.
what was the brother's name, Eitai Slicker, what was the brother's name that has a home right out there someplace in D.C.? Abba Shalig wrote about him, and he mentioned exactly what Eitai was just talking about as the terrible day of the Lord before it came. It would be like the darkening of the you know, and what was that brother's name that lived right out there in D.C.? He got a home out there. They go and it's like you know, where they go and visit the home and everything. You know, it's like not a resort, but what do you call it when you go and an ancient place that
A historic site.
yeah, right, historical site. What is
Historic.
that brother's name?
I can't. I don't recall the brother. I don't know.
Famous brother.
Oh,
He
famous
stood up
brother.
and made a speech on the 4th of July
Oh,
when they
Frederick
were
Douglass.
hanging people.
Frederick.
Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass, that's who I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Right.
Yes, Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass
Mhm.
speaks of exactly what Eitai talking about.
Beautiful. And you
Mhm.
know he's a great ancestor.
Yes,
Right.
no doubt.
Frederick Douglass. Okay, continue on. I'm sorry.
Okay. So what we've done, and we'll go over this again, but I just wanted to show you the perfection and the brilliance of how our ancestors incorporated our story. I'm talking about in tremendous detail with these symbols. And again, we're going to be going over at different points in the study. We're going to be going over each of these uh, tarot cards in detail, and you're going to see that they are consistent in the message that they're giving us and enlightening, because that's what these symbols are designed to do. So we started out with the 12, right? And we went to 21. And we know that 12 is the mirror in adverse, or the mirror image of 21, and vice versa. So again, these divine union of opposites. Now, see, this is just a holistic language.
That's all. That's all.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, like Malkiel told us that December 21st, 2012, again,
Yes.
12/21,
Mhm.
they have this thing called the 2012 phenomena. And they describe this as a range of eschatological belief that cataclysmic or otherwise, Malkiel, transformative events
Mm.
would occur. The bluing of the
Mhm.
moon, transformative event.
Mhm.
The sevenfold day, transformative event.
Mhm.
Ain't nobody
Mhm.
causing that stuff but us.
Mhm.
We are on a now see, we ain't on no mathematical system like that.
Absolutely
That's
not.
what locked us in. We are on a prophetic timetable of
Yes.
cycles that is established what? We established it in the unfolded reality, or the enfolded reality.
Yeah, the enfolded reality,
And
right.
we're working now in conjunction with the unfolded reality. So it unfolds as these events, but it unfolds in direct relation to what? Our uh responding to what? The call at a particular time, coming into alignment, perfect alignment with this energy, with this wave pattern, with this frequency.
Eitai.
Our movement, our speech, our thoughts on this high vibratory frequency is causing these things. As above, so below. Go ahead.
There was another significant event that a lot of people miss in 2014, 2015, the four blood moon.
Oh yes.
And we got to see within that time frame, Abu Ghadol made transition,
Cain.
which was a significant event.
Cain.
Because
Directly
that
related to that,
absolutely,
directly related to that.
and
Later on, I'm sorry, Nazar is going to shed some light on this from a personal experience that both that he had and that was confirmed. That was confirmed by something I saw just in the spirit. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But go ahead, brother. No, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. So again, it's just confirmation of what you're sharing with us.
Yes. We're gonna put all this together. So this 2012 phenomenon refers to a range of eschatological, that means end time, beliefs that cataclysmic or otherwise transformative events would occur on or around December 12th, 2012. December 21st, 2012 marks the date that the Mesoamerican long count calendar reaches the date 13. Well, 13 is the number of the death terror.
And shows and the Mayans knew that because they call it the end of the world.
That's correct. But we just know that is the end of what? This simulated reality. And again, for us, it has ended.
Okay.
Amari, it's over.
It's it. It's over.
A palindrome is a word, phrase, or number, or other sequence of characters which reads the same backwards as forwards. So our understanding of these palindromes aid us in what? The syncretizing of these apparent opposites. Okay, and this is what we just did in this portion. We went from 12 to what? 21. And we told our story. We allowed the symbols, rather, to tell our story in detail. So, as we close, I want to connect this very quickly with what Nasik pointed out in the book of Revelations so that we can demystify all of this. And again, we're going to talk about the 10 what? Hells in 7 places.
7 places.
10 hells in 7 places. So very quickly, we're going to decode and demystify this very quickly. Souls divide into 2 categories, symbolized by fish, that is that which is below, and land animals, that which is above. The 2 prototypes of these categories are, look, Leviathan, the dragon or the serpent, and the behemoth. This is very simple. In the present, these 2 categories of souls correspond, listen very carefully, to the two innate tendencies and attractions of your soul. It ain't nothing outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things, when we talk about duality, that exists within us. So it talks about the two innate tendencies of the soul. To either what? To either the concealed and secret, that is the roots of the tree. Look, the 10 hells, the roots of the tree. Do y'all see it? That is
Can't hear,
what is hidden.
can't hear you, Eitai.
Oh, I'm sorry. The roots of the tree, that is what is hidden and concealed. And then the top of the tree, that which is revealed. All right? Can everybody hear me? No. Okay, I got a slow connection. Lost the connection. Now, see, you're not going to believe this. Yeah, you're not going to believe this now, see?
I got a message saying the organizer is having technical problems, and if he don't clear it up in 5 minutes, the meeting will be ended.
Let me tell you what just happened.
What happened?
A truck was right outside my house. Well, I'm looking at it now. A truck was right outside my house, right in front of the house. And I'm wondering, I'm sitting here, I'm hearing it. It's right out front of the house. And I'm like, man, what is this truck down there? Now they were there at the end of the street because we had a snowstorm. I said, when I came in earlier this morning from taking my daughter from where, I said, oh, they working on the lines or something like that. Now see, the truck stopped right outside the house, knocked the signal out, and right when you said, Eitai, we can't hear you, the truck pulled off. I'm telling you what happened. Yeah. Yeah, they cut us off now, see. Hey, they trying to save their world. I'm not mad at them. They're trying to save their world. Hey, now